Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for another craft with me. I'm crafting along with Sonya Stepto, I'm still working on my little book. She's already started her second book because I started late. And I've also not been able to keep up doing it every day. But I hope you're enjoying just these little snippets. They are very fun to do. It's anything goes, and I'm using whatever kind of products I have in my stash. But I saw Sonya make these awesome little teeny tiny little pockets. And I just thought that they were just so awesome. And it reminded me of little teeny tiny envelopes that we used to make, or that I used to make. And so I just want to show you how to make these. We're going to put some in our book. And also these little tiny envelopes that are kind of like an origami envelope, and they have a little tuck spot here, and they also have a tuck spot here, and if you want to, they even have a tuck spot here. So so this is what we're going to make today, and then we'll put some in our little journal if we get a second. But what you need to make, we'll make these first. And all you need is just a strip of paper. There's no real measurements. You make them any size. I have that size. Here's one. I was watching her. I went to bed and was watching TV in bed, and I saw her make it, so I had to get up and just quick make one with some scrap paper that I had on my desk so that I wouldn't forget the next morning that I really wanted to do those, because I do that sometimes. But so all we're going to do, I'm just going to grab my cutter here, and let's get this stuff out of the way. And I'm just going to cut a strip of paper. Let's use one that's a little more... Let's cut these circles off, and then I can use this piece on the back. So, you can just you can make these just with whatever scrap papers you have laying around. Like I said, this was just a piece of paper on my desk that we had played cards and kept score on. So I want it to be about 1 inch wide, so that means that I need 1 inch for the back and 1 inch for the front. So I need 2 inches, plus I need an overlap. So, and let's make it a little over 1 inch wide. So let's just go with 3 inches. Okay. And then this is, just so you know the measurement, it's about 2 1/4 tall. So, and like I said, it really doesn't matter whatever your size is. So you just need a little piece of paper, and then you're just going to fold it over to a little past halfway. Actually, that's not right, because I always think in thirds, and that's not really quite how far you need to go. But it doesn't matter how far you go. And then we're just going to fold it the other side over so that we have a little bit of an overlap here, so that we'll be able to glue it together. So we're just going to fold that over like that. And then we're going to fold up the bottom so that we have our little, so nothing falls out. And then what I do is I'm going to just open it back up, and I don't believe I didn't grab my scissors. Here's a pair. Okay, so I'm going to open it back up, and then where we fold it across the bottom, on the flat part, I'm going to cut that fold part off. So cut off the fold, and when you get to this fold here, then just kind of angle like that so that you have an angle on what's going to fold up. I'm going to go to the other side. For me, it's easier to flip it over, and I'm going to cut it on the fold. When I get to where our side has folds down, and I'm just going to put a little cut in like that. So now we have this little piece for our back part. So it's going to go like that, and that's going to fold up just like that. And so let's put a little notch in it, our little finger hole, even though it's teeny tiny. And this is just a hole punch because we want something very tiny. Okay, that didn't want to work. I'm going to stick another piece of paper underneath of it to make it a little thicker. This paper is so thin, the punch doesn't like to punch through it. Let's see if I can line that up, and there we go. And so now we have the little finger hole in the envelope. Okay, and if you wanted to ink it, you would do that right now. I didn't bring any ink with me, and these are quite busy papers, so I'm not going to worry about inking them. Then we're just going to fold it over. I like to put glue on this flap so that when I fold it down, it glues together. But if I put glue on this flap and put too much glue on it, then when I fold it down, I could possibly glue that to my inside. So I put my glue right on here, and I did have a stick glue. Here it is. Oh, if I can get it open. There we go. You should always wipe off the edge of your stick glue before you glue it together. So I'm going to put glue on this one. So I'm just going to run some glue down there and then fold it in and put this one over on top of it. And then I'm going to put glue on my bottom flap and fold that up. And that's all there is to it. There is our cute little envelope. And then what you do is just cut a piece of paper that will fit inside of there. I cut some little tags that will fit in there. And, this one's a little too tall. I cut these tags specifically to fit my, the other ones that I made. So let's take that out of there. So this is, since I don't have a ruler, we're just going to use this. This is just over 1 1/4 inches wide. So we will just cut a piece of paper to put in there. That's 1 1/4 inches wide, because that's just over 1 1/4, so it will be big enough to hold this. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure that it does fit in there. And it does. And I'm just going to kind of say that right there is how tall my little pocket is. So I'm going to just fold it over. And then I'm going to fold it over again, like that. Whoops. And then we'll have a little tag that we can pull out that will have writing space on it. Let's make sure that it fits. And yes, it does fit. Now, we can cut it off right here and put a little tabby on the top, or what we could do is we could just kind of like a little file folder or something, just come over and then just kind of round it up and go straight over and then round it down. And then go across the top like that. I'm going to come in and kind of fix it a little bit. And there we go. Now we have a little tab that looks kind of like a file folder tab, just for the heck of it. Oh, you know, I could get all of that bulk out of my way. There we go. So now we have that, and we can take this and put that right in there, and now it has like a little file folder tab to stick out on the top. So I just think that those are so cute. So I sat here and made a whole bunch of them. Before we figure out where to put them in the book, I'm going to show you how to make, excuse me, the little envelopes. So we'll just do, all you need for the little envelopes is a square. So I'm going to do, let's just do let's do 3.5 by 3.5. Might be easier for you to see. 3.5 by 3.5. And all it needs to be is it needs to be square. And then what we're going to do is you just fold it point to point like that. And I have glue on my table now because of how I did that. And then what we're going to do is we are going to find the center of our triangle down here on the bottom. I'm going to put a mark on there. I normally would not, but I'm going to do that so that you can see that. So that is center right there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fold one point over about 1/4 inch to let's say 1/2 inch. If your envelope's really tiny, then you're not going to want to go 1/2 inch. You won't have enough room. But so we have folded that. And what I'm going to do is, now that I've got that folded, I'm going to find that little center fold, and I'm going to fold it back up again, so that the point of my what I just folded over is folded out that way. So now I know where center is. Center is right there. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to take this one, make sure that the point where you folded it up, make sure that it's lined up with the bottom. I kind of had that folded on a bit of an angle, so I want that lined up where I folded. I want that straight across the bottom. Then I'm going to take, here we've got this little point sticking out there, just like that. I'm going to take this point and I'm going to line it up with the end of that point. I'm going to press that down. I'm going to line those two up together and then give that a press. And there we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up and I'm going to fold this flap right here, right down to the center. This is where we folded it for the middle. This is our fold here. So I'm just going to take the point here and just fold that inside. And that's what's going to make our envelope. And I'm going to just give that just a touch of glue. And then fold it back up again. See, now it's looking more like an envelope. We're going to take the one that's not folded and we're going to put some glue just across the bottom, because if you go just across the bottom, you will have an opening here. Now you can glue this together if you want to, but if you don't glue it together, then you'll have an opening there. We put glue across the bottom, so we're going to glue that down. So we have the opening there where we didn't glue it together. Then we have another opening here where it comes together, and then we've got our envelope opening right there. Then we're going to take the other side, and before you glue it down, it's actually easier to do this before you glue it down, cut off where you folded this in. We're going to want to cut off this little extra piece of paper right here so that our flap folds down nicer. So we'll just give that a cut right there, and a cut right here. And we're going to do the same thing over here, just a cut right here. Oh, we're out of time almost. And a cut right here. And there we go. So now let's quick run some glue across the bottom of this, just like that. Then we're going to run some glue across not our little folded point, just the rest of it. And we'll fold that one in. And then our little point right here, what we're going to do, what we're going to do with our little point is we're going to, here's our point, it's sticking out right there. We're going to just kind of push on it to make it start to open up. And we're going to fold it, the little point here to the little point there as it opens up, just like that. And then we're going to fold this back. We've got our little opening right here, but we don't want that just hanging out there. So we're just going to glue underneath of it on this side. A little bit of glue to glue the back of it down. And then we're going to fold it up and put a little tiny bit of glue right there. And then we still have our little opening right here, but it's glued down. And then we're just going to take our the top of our envelope. We are going to just kind of line it up with that, open that up. There's our little part right there. We're going to open that up and stick our point right in there, and then just take it right down to where it fits nicely, and then press your top seam. And then just make sure that all of your seams have a really good press. Make sure that that's pressed down. And there we go. Now we have our little tiny envelope, and it has its own closure. And I saw how to make these envelopes from Elizabeth Brewer years ago, a couple of years ago. And I just love to make them because they're just kind of like a quick origami. And so now we have a space here where you could fold something up and put it in there. We have another space, something kind of bigger. We have another space here where you could put something crosswise as big as the envelope that would fit right there, like that, and the back one. And then we also have these two little spaces where I told you if you don't glue them, you'll have an extra pocket. So then you have a little pocket here, and you have a little pocket over, right over here. Anyways, we're not going to do that because I don't want this to go off on me. So there we go. This is what we've done today. I will